Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV, aka Delboy. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, Naoya Inoue outboxes, outmans, outfights, dominates, and brutally stops Stephen Fulton in the 8th round, in which was a one-sided fight. Going into this bout, many expected it to be competitive, however, that simply wasn't the case. Going into this fight, I picked Inoue by late stoppage, but I felt Fulton may give Inoue a few issues early on, in like the first 4 rounds or so, and then Inoue would separate himself. However, that wasn't the case. Inoue separated himself from Fulton right from round 1. Different levels of skill, different levels of power, different levels of confidence. Essentially what you saw today was a really good fighter in Stephen Fulton coming up against a generational fighter in Naoya Inoue. Absolutely tremendous by Inoue. I made a comment on Twitter right from round 1, after round 1 finished. I felt Fulton looked very nervous, looked very unsure of himself, unsure what to do. And to me that came through in his performance. Inoue right from round 1 was the aggressor. He was the guy holding centre ring. Immediately Inoue proved that he was the quicker man. He was beating Fulton to the jab, sometimes countering Fulton's jab with his own jab. I loved the jab to the body by Inoue. And by the way, this is the issue with CompuBox. So CompuBox would count Inoue's jabs to the body as just jabs and not power shots. But watch that fight. Inoue was shotgunning that jab to the body. It was basically a power shot. And every single time he landed that shot, Fulton would nod. Well, sometimes he would nod in acknowledgements. That shot was key throughout this bout for Inoue, because it set up work upstairs, you know. Fulton was always anticipating that jab to the body, and Inoue would then switch it up, jab to the head, come over the top with the overhand right, he'd feint low and come over the top. The jab to the body was key for Inoue in this fight, and I dare say it more than likely affected Fulton's gas tank as this fight went on. Fulton in the first 4 rounds got completely outboxed, completely schooled. Again, Inoue looked more comfortable. He was landing more shots. The jab was on point. He was countering Fulton at times. Fulton would land the odd jab here and there, the odd sort of check left hook, but nothing of consequence. Fulton got completely schooled in the first 4 rounds, and quite frankly, he got schooled throughout this fight. But after 4 rounds, I felt Fulton had a little more success, but nowhere near enough to win rounds, and nowhere near enough to really trouble Inoue. And at this point in time, after like round 4, I got the impression that Stephen Fulton was already out of ideas. He realised the magnitude of the situation he was in. He knew, I'm sure, that Inoue is a real hard puncher, and he was more than likely preparing for that. But I don't think he was preparing for the speed of Inoue, the reflexes of Inoue, and the overall boxing skills of Inoue. I think that really surprised Stephen Fulton in this fight, and he kind of went in there with the arrogance of being this slickster. And a lot of boxing fans do this. A lot of boxing fans will automatically say the slicker guy is the more skilled guy. That's not always the case. There's a bias towards slick styles in boxing. And I felt that was very lazy analysis going into this fight. I said in my prediction, I said in streams, Inoue not only the harder puncher, he's a more skilled fighter. And we saw that in this fight, and Fulton found that out the hard way. Round 6, Fulton actually tried to fight a little fire with fire. Landed a really good, I think it was a left hook. The commentary said it was a right hook, I'm sure it was a left hook. Landed a really good left hook on Inoue when Inoue was getting a little more reckless, a little more aggressive. He was really starting to load up in round 6. It felt like Inoue didn't really respect what was coming back, and as a result, Fulton landed a few good shots in round 6, but single shots, that's the issue. Inoue would then come back and land flurries, land combinations, be active with the jab. Once again, round 6 was Fulton's best round by far, in my opinion. But yeah, to me, not enough, nowhere near enough to win the round. There was a couple of moments where Fulton put 2 or 3 shots together, and, you know, the last shot of the combination would land, and I think he should have been doing that a lot earlier, throwing 2 or 3 punch combinations, trying to catch Inoue on the second phase of attack, that sort of thing. But he wasn't really willing to do that. Fulton was landing, primarily he was throwing single shots throughout this fight, and the jab. I think at the halfway point, Fulton should have really mixed things up, and, you know, tried to land some combinations, tried to throw some combinations, but I think he was wary of what was coming back. Round 7 again, Fulton had a bit of success here and there, nothing to really write home about, just little moments of defiance, but again, not enough to trouble Inoue. And round 8 was where this fight ended. Inoue comes out very early on, very aggressive, varying the jab from body to head, super hard jabs. Then he comes over the top with a right cross. It rocks Stephen Fulton, nearly goes down. Inoue then kind of lunges in and lands a left hook, and Fulton goes down. Definitely hurts, on unsteady legs. Beats the count. Inoue goes back in. Inoue throws a combination of punches. Fulton goes back to the corner, gets caught by a couple of shots, and Stephen Fulton goes down. The referee waves it off, and it was over. Good stoppage by the referee. Dominant performance by Naoya Inoue. What more can I say? Pound for pound number 1, as far as I'm concerned. Full weight world champion. And after the fight, Marlon Tapales, who is the other unified champion at super bantamweight, was in the ring. And it looks like we're going to get that fight next, which means Inoue more than likely has the chance to become a 2-time undisputed champion, a 2-weight undisputed champion, as well as being a 4-weight world champion. This was Inoue's 4th weight where he's been a world champion, so very impressive by Naoya Inoue. Dominance. And listen, Tapales is a good fighter. He pulled off a really good win over MJ Akhmadaliev, but bro, Inoue's a big favourite in that fight. Big favourite. And yeah, hopefully we get that fight next. Hopefully we get to see Inoue try to become a 2-weight undisputed world champion. That's what we want to see. You know, these guys chasing history, fighting world champions, etc. And that fight's there for him. It looks like we're going to get that fight next. Again, they had him in the ring after this fight. Looks like we're going to get it next. So we'll see what happens there. John Riel Casimiro is also in the division. Maybe if Inoue becomes undisputed, Inoue could then fight John Riel Casimiro, as there is some history there. They were supposed to fight before, but it kind of fell through. So yeah, I mean, Inoue looks like we're going to get another undisputed fight next, which is great. And, you know, aside from that, you know, Inoue for me, pound for pound number 1. I think he's proved a lot of doubters wrong with this performance. He really has. I felt the fight week to me, I think a lot of people didn't cover themselves in glory, to be honest with you. Members of Stephen Fulton's team, throwing around baseless accusations. Same with the boxing media. To me, this fight week, there's been an air of resentment towards Naoya Inoue. And for him to put on a show like that really kind of puts those people in their place. You've got a guy here who is doing what we want as boxing fans, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, we should support him. But yeah, great performance by Inoue. As for Fulton, I'm assuming he's going to go to featherweight next. I'm assuming this is his last fight at super bantamweight, so we'll see what he does next as well. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Beanie Guy Del Boy, peace.